Flash, oh. Not the uterus. No.
Yeah. Jack Nielsen, brother, thanks for coming on the Fast Break Points.
It was.
Our 10-minute show on our Whispers Network YouTube channel. But
Thanks.
But bro, man, on Saturday night was the Joseph Parker Junior Farr fight.
Yes.
I know you're a big boxing fan, so I wanted you to come on here and just tell me what you thought about the main event.
Sure. Well, again, thanks for having me on. Also, it's really good to see you again. And I saw your last episode of Fast Breaks with Hamilton himself, Mr. Captain Hamilton. So yeah, thanks for having me. Bro, it was exciting. Like, to be perfectly honest, I wasn't actually planning to watch the fight. We sort of got back on Saturday and decided to put it on and watch it. And I know maybe the price might have put some people off, sort of $50. But I mean, like for us, if that's a little bit of money that's going to help, little Ezra Farr sort of live a better life, and what him and his family sort of go through, and we'll see more Joseph Parker videos, then more than happy to pay it. I guess the fight, the whole event itself, it was great to see that we've got some professional heavyweight world ranked boxers here in New Zealand, number 3 and number 5 at the time, in the WBO, I think it is. And just it was cool to see I only saw a couple of the fights, but that particular fight, it was a bit of a battle, between sort of, I think for Joseph Parker, he's probably struggled in the past with taller fighters. When he's had to sort of, fight on the inside and try and unload it and try and score that way, as opposed to fighting sort of on the outside. But it was definitely a good spectacle. I enjoyed watching it. I'm more of probably a casual fan of boxing, but I thought in the end, apart from a few of those dubious scorecards, that first judge, that was a bit weird. What was it, 119-9? One of the judges scored it. I was like, bro, were you Kevin Barry's uncle or something? Well, what fight were you watching? Right. The other ones were a lot closer. But it was definitely good to see, again, like I said, two top fighters get in there and mix it up. And, the Samoa Tonga angle was pretty good as well. We have a big history there since, Samoa's managed to take the Tongans out of Samoa all those centuries ago. But no, I definitely thought, it seemed to me when Junior Farr sort of kept him at distance, he sort of controlled the fight a lot more. I think he actually landed the cleaner shots. And Joseph Parker did well to obviously absorb them, being a boxer. But obviously when Parker was able to get in on the inside and basically live there, he reworked the body a lot more. And then that way, I guess that's what sort of got him the fight, or got him the points. But I think the only time, you saw that Junior got that cut across his eye. I think that was from an elbow. Is that what you saw as well?
Yeah, that's right. It was the elbow.
So if it was Muay Thai, awesome. Yeah, elbows are good. Yeah, you can. Elbows are good for Muay Thai, but not in boxing. But the pressure was always going to be on Joseph to sort of do something special. But again, Junior Farr, big man. It's not going to be easy just to knock him out early on. But he did really well. And the cool thing, the biggest thing I quite enjoyed was seeing how happy and excited Junior Farr is. Then I'll be honest, I actually have never seen a Junior Farr fight. I know that he's a little bit older than Joseph and hasn't had as many fights, but hopefully that gets him opportunities to fight and go up in the rankings or whatever it is. For Joseph Parker, who knows what's sort of next for him? I think we're calling out, is it Derek Chisora? But whether he would come to New Zealand, because it seems the only places that fights are happening right now, or events are happening around, are here, because the government are willing to sort of do them. But now that we're back in lockdown, who knows, level 4, it's like crazy. But what do you think of the fight?
It was good that we saw Joseph Parker and Junior Farr. The two best fighters in New Zealand, right? Yeah. And I was thinking, like, today I was talking to my mate at work. I was comparing them to, like, say, for the likes on Wilder in the States and Tyson Fury, and I thought personally nowhere near up to that level. Yeah, and that's what I thought. How about you?
Yeah, you think obviously,
or still not up to that level. I thought.
Yeah, man, I've been fighting for a long time, right? A bit of ring rust. So the performance wasn't always going to be sharp. I think you saw probably like most fighters, like Joseph Parker, when he was active, probably 2016, a few years back. He was, he was really on. He was going really well. He's putting good fights together. But when I guess just sparring and training for a long period of time, and then coming into a big event like that, it's always going to be tough to turn up and sort of put on the performance that you want or you feel you need to do to basically, I guess for him again, make it back to fighting for a title, fighting for a bout, because that's what they're both about, right? These aren't just guys that just want to make the numbers, and given that Parker's been in there with with some of the biggest names, obviously losing to AJ and going down to, I think it was Dylan White. That those are big losses, but Ruiz and the rest of the guys that he's taken and taken right to the end. Like even going into that last round, there was always that potential for a knockout, right, for Joseph Parker, because he's done that before. He knows how to go into those later rounds. But I think just Junior Fa being able to weather the storm, take his shots as well, and maybe just that ring rust for Joseph Parker not being what he usually is or has been, didn't quite get that knockout result for him. But I mean, again, good to see them both fighting, and again, hopefully for both of them, it's a stepping stone towards bigger things. But I guess given the climate that we're in now in terms of having big fights, I mean, the Tyson Fury Anthony Joshua fight, where's that at? Who knows? It's like, when are they going to do it? I mean, the UK is under complete lockdown, all that sort of stuff. So hopefully we'll see something like that. But hopefully for these two guys, they get the opportunity to go again and go even bigger. Do you think they'll ever do you think they'll have a rematch? Like, what do you reckon?
Yeah, I think they should have a rematch. But I think you're right as well in terms of what the COVID-19 has done, especially around the world. Like we also haven't seen Tyson Fury and Wilder fight either. So they've got probably a year. They haven't had any action. So yeah, but you mentioned before about the scorecards. Do you think that New Zealand should really up their game in regards to the judging? Because if you read the papers and if you read the comments on social media, like that judge that scored 109 to 119.
Yeah,
I mean, it was a close fight all the way, and to me that score seemed way off.
Oh, completely off, mate. Completely off. Like I said, what fight was he watching? Was he, watching a different fight? I mean, I think there was even controversy earlier with the was it Banuve, his fight with the Greek fella.
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
Wrong score. And I did watch the press conference. So Junior Fa and the Joseph Parker, and they talked about in that Banuve fight how he read out the wrong score. It was like, instead of reading 57-56, which should have been the right score, it was like 57 all. So look, I mean, I can imagine that judging is quite difficult, and you get people in there that have years of experience, and maybe their glasses are a bit fogged up because of all the lovely ladies walking past. But I think there's obviously a controversy there, and in terms of when you have such a variation in the score, I mean, it doesn't look good. I mean, because again, but at the end of the day, the points is, I mean, I guess Parker had done enough. He'd done enough to win the fight. He got the right rounds. I guess if you weren't sort of a Parker or Junior Fa fan, or just sort of a neutral, you might have said, I mean, I've heard people talking about commentating that, it looked like a draw to them. And so, but then they're like, well, it could go either way because you've got two hometown guys fighting at home, so who knows where it's going to go. I mean, there was all that controversy when Ruiz came here, and sort of, the result sort of happened as well. So it sort of went to Joe. So boxing, that's why boxing is what it is. It's the controversy that sort of ensues. It's half the time it's not even about the actual fights that happen and what happens in the fights. It's about the scorecards. It's about all the controversy. It's about all the stuff that sort of goes on behind the scenes, which is a shame because boxing is still, I guess, especially for us, it has such a high standard. It's such a big history. It's a shame to see, but hey, we'll still watch, right? Still pay a little bit of money to sort of have a watch. So
I was happy that Joseph won the fight because I hated seeing that guy go back to square one. So it's good stepping stone for him to get up there in the top level again. To have a shot there.
I hope so.
Yeah. Before you came on, you also talked about the Hemi Ahio fight and the Julius Long. Yeah. So that was a pretty entertaining fight, man. And that guy, Ben, he was massive. He was a big tree that needed to be fouled, and it happened for Hemi. But you told me that was one of your favorite fights on that night. So
truth be told,
how did you feel about that one?
Yeah, that made it for me. I mean, just it was a rematch for those two. I think Hemi won last time on points. I'm pretty sure that was the case. But to see, I think Julius Long was 148 kgs, and that would have been at the weigh-in. So there's a good chance he's probably a little bit heavier. And Hemi was 104 kgs. So you fight someone that's 40, 50, almost 50 kgs heavier than you. You saw the knockdown, so that sort of uppercut that sort of knocked Hemi down. It's like, yeah, of course, if you got someone who has that much weight on you, you're going to see that. But to Hemi's credit, he was composed, and he was willing to play even Julius Long's game. Hemi was, once his grown and said, bro, make him come to the middle of the ring so he doesn't rest on the ropes, and you guys can fight there. And he's like, oh no. And then Julius, being the experienced, the veteran that is, no, come over here, and I'm going to lean on this.
Yeah.
Come close. When you come a little bit closer, and hopefully, and so by the 7th round, when Hemi was actually able to, finish him off, it was awesome to see. And it sort of, I'll be honest, it sort of reminded me of watching that vintage footage of Jack Johnson. So the fighting who was the African American heavyweight champion about over 100 years ago, and what he used to do to his opponents. And back then, he would fight obviously smaller white guys and would defeat all of them. And if you've never heard of Jack Johnson, look him up, because his place in heavyweight boxing history is huge, and paved a lot of way. And all the African fighters from around the world that came through, so from Africa that came through after that, it shows just the athletes that they are. And so, but that's what it was like watching. You got this giant sort of just keeping the little fella at bay. But to his credit, he came in, he'd step back, and then walk straight to him. Which, a lot of people are saying, well, you want to use lateral movement to sort of, because if you just walk at someone, they're just going to punch you in the face straight away. So it's good to see him. He's tough as. But what they're doing there at City Kickboxing is amazing. All those guys, whether it's the boxing section or the kickboxing or the MMA, what they're doing is they're helping each other to basically get so much better. And Izzy's off to US the next year to get that light heavyweight belt. So it's good times for them. But it was a good fight to watch. I enjoyed watching it, and also to see Hemi do really well. So.
Yeah, it's good to see New Zealand boxing healthy. There's a lot of young guys coming up. One after the other.
Yeah.
Parker's going forward. You got Junior Fa in the back, and then you got Hemi Ahio just coming up right behind Junior Fa. So, it's good. It's probably a good time to be a boxer in New Zealand right now.
Yeah, for sure, bro. Yeah. Well, even if you just do a bit of fitness, to try and keep a bit healthier, it's some really good fight gyms out there that'll teach you how to train and get you in there. And so Oh, actually, if I can, just a shout out to Phil Taleta from BBM, who won he was on the undercard, and he won his second.
Okay, yeah.
His journey's been, and that's, I guess, an example of someone that's used, just like Dave, I'll tell you, the Brown Butterbean, he's used boxing and sort of to help with his fitness journey, to come down from, 200-300 kgs to what he is now, and to win his fight on Saturday was awesome to see. So, yeah, shout out to all the BBMers for sure. Well done.
Sure, also. Hey man, that was Jack Nielsen, guys.
Thanks for having me. Yeah, good to see you.
All right.
We'll have to do it all again.
No worries, man.
Catch up.
Yep, let's do it again. All right. Okay.